about the real
Right.
playoff teams, Herbie.
Let's
Let's
all
talk
right,
about the
man.
real
So
playoff teams,
let's
dog.
let's go ahead and let's go ahead and really do this right here, man. So playoff pictures, man. What was it? What was the name again? You had to do. What we doing?
To be or not to be, Herbie.
To be or not to be, man. Who do you want to start with?
Let's see. We can start with the AFC, right? We're gonna start with the AFC, right? To be or not to be. Fuck it. Let's start with the Broncos, man. Let's start with the Broncos.
Let's start with the Broncos, man. So the Denver Broncos, to be or not to be.
I will say, Herbie, that this is what I will say for the Broncos, Herbie, because well, granted, I am wishing for their downfall, but let me be objective here. All right, let me be objective. The Broncos, to be or not to be, Herbie, the Broncos are to be a fear team going into the playoffs, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they have right now a very very good mix of coaching, a young rookie quarterback playing well, a top 5 defense that didn't look top 5 the other night, but for the most part have held teams to below 17 points per game basically all season long. And I got to tell you, Herbie, I'm not expecting the Broncos to go on a deep playoff run, but they are a team, if they get in, which they most likely will, they can knock off whoever the 2 seed is, Herbie. If let's just say they get the Steelers, you don't think they can knock off the Steelers? Let's just say they get the Chiefs. They, the Chiefs only beat them on a blocked field goal, Herbie. Like,
God.
like you know what I mean? And they get them again. So, a third time, a third time around, defense seeing Pat Mahomes in that offense a third time. I mean, I just think even against the Bills, like I think because of their defense, because of they run the ball with Javonte Williams, because of how well fucking Bo Nix has actually ended up. When Bo Nix started the year, Herbie, when we were still doing the top 5 quarterback year or the worst, Bo Nix was living on that list, right? Like he started the season with crazy
Yeah,
bad stats.
he was on that bitch like 3 straight seasons, bro. Like 3 straight
3
weeks.
straight
I was
weeks. Yeah.
like, it was rough. It was
Yeah.
rough for Bo. It
But
was rough.
he has long since come a long fucking way. He went from being one of the worst quarterbacks week to week to start the year to arguably being the rookie of the year. Like he might take it over arguably.
Jaden
I'm not
Daniels.
saying he will. Jaden Daniels,
Yeah.
just because Jaden is kind of falling back to the pack a little bit. And granted, he got hurt. He was dealing with a rib injury, but his performances have subsided. With that being said, Herbie, the Broncos are to be feared for whoever the fuck the 2 seed is, because even if they're gonna put a scare into whoever the fuck they play, just because defense travels, Herbie. Defense travels. That's one of the most things that we know about football. And the Broncos have been a top 5 unit all year. They got guys like Benito, guys like Patrick Surtain. They got fucking niggas all over the field that can make plays. And I got to tell you, man, I like that. Listen, I don't expect them to go on a deep playoff run, but I'll put it like this: I'll take the plus on whoever the fuck they play. That I'll tell
All
you.
right, all right, man. For me, man, I'll take the Colts, man. What I would say for the Indianapolis Colts are to be or not to be. They are not to be taken serious, man. Get these niggas out of my face, man. Like, get these niggas out of my face, man. Not taking these niggas serious, man. Get out of
Oh
here,
shit!
bro.
Damn, I just spit my water off you, dog. Oh shit! You made me spit
My
the water,
bad,
dog.
my bad, dog. My bad, dog.
I was not expecting that, my boy. That's hilarious.
My bad, dog.
No,
Bro,
man. I love it. I love
listen,
it,
man.
man.
Listen.
Oh shit!
Listen.
Let me wipe my
Do I
computer.
like the
dog.
Colts? Do I like aspects of the Colts? Do I like a lot of things that the Colts can do? Yes. But at the end of the
Oh
day,
shit!
they are not there yet. It is a young team, and it is a young quarterback who's never actually played a full season yet. He's been in the league for 2 years, and he hasn't played a full season yet, bro. This is what, his 9th game or 7th game that he's starting at this point? Like, there are a lot of things about the Colts that you would like. And for whatever reason, the Colts don't even understand their own timeline, right? Like, they're a young team with young receivers, a very young quarterback, a relatively new head coach. They're not at that aspect where they should be taken serious as far as doing anything in the playoffs. Will they make the playoffs? Possibly. But they're going to lump into the playoffs, and they're not going to do anything. They're either going to be a first round exit for sure, bro. So My 2B is to not take these niggas serious, bro. The Indianapolis Colts, man. Um, we spent a whole time with the Dolphins, bro. So let's go ahead with the Bengals, man. 2B or not 2B, Rod?
Herbie, the Bengals to be or not to be? The Bengals are not to be believed in this season, Herbie. And we already know this, and I'm just saying this on the front end for the people who think they're gonna win out and get in. If Herbie, for the Bengals to pull that shit off, it would be incredible. And I just don't see it. Listen, Russell Wilson, the shadow of Russell Wilson that's playing for Pittsburgh right now, Herbie, dropped 400 fucking yards and 3 touchdowns on your defense. The Bengals can't stop anybody, and their schedule to end the season is not. They still got. I think they have another game against Pittsburgh. They get Denver. I mean, Herbie, I just think that it's a shame that the Bengals season unfolded the way it did, but I think it's a wake up call for the organization to do what they probably should have been did, and that's get the fuck rid of Zach Taylor. Get another coach in there, bro. Get somebody who knows what he's. I know maybe they'll just maybe Lou Anarumo will end up being the scapegoat as the defensive coordinator. But I honestly think it starts. I think they need to pair Joe Burrow. I feel like Herbie Joe Burrow has made Zach Taylor look better as a coach than he ever was. That's just my opinion. Maybe I have a little bit of a resentment or bias towards Zach Taylor because I remember when he was the quarterbacks coach for the Dolphins and he was just a complete nepotism hire. So I've just never respected him since. And he lucked into getting Joe Burrow because the Bengals were so bad, and they got to a Super Bowl. Credit to them. And what have they done since, Herbie? Every single year under Zach Taylor, the Bengals start very slow. They start 0-2, 1-3. They're always playing behind the eight ball. You have an MVP caliber quarterback. If you looked at Joe Burrow's fucking numbers and you didn't know what team he was on, you'd be like, oh man, that team is probably leading their division. Nah, this man is putting up MVP numbers and he is 4-8. Like that to me starts at the fucking top. That to me it's been him, Jamar Case, and occasionally T. Higgins when he's not hurt. And Mike Gesicki, who I'm happy for him. He's playing well. They found a role for him over there. In Miami, we got Janu, they got Gesicki. I'm happy he's good. But Herbie, I just think that the Bengals, they, you know, because of how great Burrow is and how great Jamar Chase are, and some of the guys like Hendrickson, they got stars on their team that have helped carry them in years past. And this was a season where they couldn't do it anymore. They needed more help from the coaching staff. They needed more help from and I'm not quite sure what injuries they might have had. I don't want to talk too out of turn, but it don't even matter because they've been bad all fucking year. They've been bad all season long. I'm sure that whoever they lost in free agency that was on that D line, I forget his name. They missed that nigga, dog, because their defense has not been the same, and they let anybody score on them, and they just no matter how good the quarterback and his weapons have been this season, they have not been able to overcome. Herbie, it's hard to overcome your own team. I watched Tua try to do that shit on Thursday night, Herbie. When your own team is fighting against you, what can you do? Only the greatest of the great
You
can
know
win,
what
and
you
even
can
then,
do?
they don't do shit.
You know what you could do? You buy a Batmobile. You say, fuck it, bro. You buy a Batmobile, bro.
That's
Like,
it.
that's it, bro. That's it,
That's
dog.
it.
That's
That's
what Joe
it.
Joe was like. Hey, we ain't going to the playoffs, bro. Let me spend this 3.9 on the Batmobile, man. Fuck it, nigga. Hey,
Fuck
all
it.
right. The the Tennessee Titans, man. All right, man. To be is not to be, man. Obviously, it's to not be. But I will say this. At some point, they got to get it right, right? Like, this is the most can't get right team I've ever seen in my life, dog. Like, we're talking about a team that at one point relied on Ryan Tannehill, bro. That should tell you everything about the
Everything.
Tennessee Titans as an organization and how unserious they've been for the past 7 years, right? But I do think there is enough with Will Levis. And again, Will Levis at the beginning of the season, just like Bo Nix, he was on my you're the worst. Like he was on a marathon, dog. Like he couldn't stay off the dope. He could
Five
not
time,
stay
five time, five time
five
champion.
time, five time, five time champion. Couldn't stay off the dope, but he rounded out. And again, on one hand, you want to say, you know what, he showed improvement, but on the other hand, it feels like we're having deja vu because we're having the same conversation that we had last year. The whole point of being a quarterback, the whole point of development is to get better on a year per year basis, not start the same and then finish the same every single year. So we are at a crossroad with the Tennessee Titans and with Will Levis. So until they figure that out, and again, I liked what I seen at the end, so I'm gonna lean on the this might be the season, and next year might be the season where we see Will Levis hone in some of hone in more of the turnovers and be more of a consistent quarterback, and they might be something next year, but they are to not be anything this year or whatever, dog. So don't try for the rest of the season. Let the Dolphins do what they got to do. Lose, help us, help the Dolphins get in, man. That's what y'all got to do.
Please, we just that's all we
Please do
ask.
that, man.
That's it.
And
That's
of
all we
course,
ask.
Rod, this is what we here for, man. The last on the bubble, the New York Jets, 3-9. The fact that they even have an opportunity and they got a 1% chance to make the playoffs.
Oh, delicious! I love that smell, Herbie.
So, Rod, I'm gonna ask you with the 2024 New York Jets in the playoff picture as it currently stands, are they a to be or not to be?
Whew, man, Herbie, I gotta tell you, this is a tough one. Psych! Not Herbie. The Jets are never to be taken seriously, Herbie. The Jets are not to be played with because they ain't playing for shit. They are done. We have gotten to watch the embers the ashes of Aaron Rodgers. I don't even think he's gonna play for them next year, Herbie. And this is the part that's more beautiful to me. Where do the Jets go from here, Herbie? You fucking sold out. Sold out for A-Rod. You let A-Rod come into your building, into your franchise, call all the shots, make all the decisions, Herbie. And now what are you left with? You're left with a guy he's already got his bags packed, Herbie. You know who A-Rod is, Herbie? A-Rod is the pops with the fedora and the trench coat with the suitcase. And he's telling the babies, hey, I'm just going to the convenience store. I'm just going to the gas station. Herbie, he ain't never coming back. A-Rod ain't never coming back. And I mean that in his ability of play, and I mean that with him physically coming back in the building next year. And the Jets are essentially, in football terms, left for dead. And that, Herbie, sings music to my ears. And this is me, Herbie, living in a world where the Dolphins are perennially disappointing. This is me living in a world where the fucking Bills, Josh Allen might end up being the fucking MVP. Props to him. He'd have earned it if he wins it, depending on how he finishes out the season. And hell, the Patriots can only go up, hopefully, now that they have the stench of Bill Belichick nearly out of the building. So the only team in the division, Herbie, that has absolutely no hope, because the Dolphins are just disappointing. The talent's there. They're just disappointing. The Jets, Herbie, they're more than disappointing. The Jets are completely in the shitter. The Jets are completely in a pit of quicksand that is completely diarrhea. And for me, Herbie, I listen. I've enjoyed it all year long. When we were doing predictions to start the season, I was the one who said, "Oh, the Jets are going to end up being Herbie." I was just talking shit out of pure hatred. I didn't think they would. I didn't think it would unfold like this. I didn't think the Jets would have such an inglorious season, Herbie. It's There are people who believe they would win the division. The Jets were believed that they would take over the Bills and the Dolphins spot. Herbie, the Patriots, I would take the Patriots over them right now, even though the Jets are technically a better team. Like, but the Patriots have hope. They have a young quarterback that has shown tons of promise playing with trash around him and not looking too bad. That's a fucking telltale sign of somebody you might have. What do the Jets have, Herbie? A fucking migraine. And that migraine is called Aaron Rodgers. He brought Devontae Adams over here for nothing. He brought Alan Lazard here for nothing. He brought Nathaniel Hackett here for bro. You know what Nathaniel Hackett's doing, dog? He's pitching pennies in the hallway, Herbie. This was the guy that they had fucking as their offensive coordinator. He got demoted. Herbie, when have you ever seen in the history of football a nigga lose his job and still be in the building, Herbie? That tells you everything that is wrong with the New York Jets. Their owner has no idea what the fuck to do or where to go because he's so up beside himself with how the situation has turned up. Herbie, I gotta tell you, man, the Jets are not to be played with because they played their way completely out of the playoffs from the start.
You played yourself. I know what the Jets have, bro. They have Fireman Ed, bro. That's it, bro. That's all they got, dog. That's all they got, man. They got Fireman Ed and the fucking fire hydrant, bro. That's it, bro. That's all they got, dog.